What do you feel like got away east for each of you in the fourth quarter? I mean, this team led for most of the game.
Yeah, I think pretty hard. We picked up some fouls, sent them to the free throw line. Then they just got some opportunities to get downhill. So I think for us, when we're looking at this game, because I know we play them again pretty soon, just making sure that we're fully rotated over, fully pulled over, so they don't get those easy looks.
Kayla, what's your difference to be more consistent for 40 minutes than to make this short game?
Yeah, I think the little things, we've kind of just shown ourselves in the leg consistently doing that. We turn the ball over, we foul a lot. You know, those are just easy points for them. I don't know how many points they had at the free throw line tonight, but I think that 18 of our turnovers, and that mostly falls on me. That falls on me as our point guard. I think I have to really get us into stuff, especially in the fourth quarter. We didn't do a good job of taking care of the ball. I didn't. So I think just starts with me and just getting better at that. And I feel like we're really close to being really good. And I think that's what's kind of been frustrating about these few losses. And I think for us today, I think this is much different than the Golden State loss. I think Golden State, we just got straight up outplayed and, you know, out hustled. I mean, tonight we did things really well for a good portion of the game. I thought we executed in our scout in the ways that we wanted to, and, you know, down the stretch we just really couldn't find a way to get it done.
What's the challenge of getting any kind of offensive flow today? Both teams seem to have a tough time. I didn't get a sense that anyone
I
was
thought
really
we
comfortable.
executed really well in the first half. I thought we did a tremendous job of, like, making them pick and choose out of the ball screen if they're going to play drop. Like, you know, AB's going to have a field day. That's exactly what she did. She was able to get, you know, just make good rolls to the rim and be able to finish. And then they made an adjustment in the second half and kind of clogged it a little bit more, and we weren't quite able to get exactly what we wanted there. I thought at times we could have played a little bit faster, and I think that's on me, like, not conceding to that. We still got to play up tempo. We still got to play fast. But I mean, I thought for the most part we did a lot of stuff that coach wanted us to do, and, you know, that wasn't why we lost.
Caitlin, I believe you're 1 17 from 3 over the past 2 games. Are you feeling off at all from 3, or is there anything?
No, I mean, there's going to be stretches that are really good, and there's going to be stretches that aren't as good, and obviously it's frustrating. You want them to go in, and even tonight I felt like there was a few that, like, felt really good off my hand and it just didn't go down. And, you know, even the mid-range jump shot to start the fourth quarter and the 3 to start the fourth quarter, like, they both felt good off my hand. So it's just like, that's just frustrating. And I think for the challenge for myself going forward is just, you know, continue to pour into every other aspect of the game, and I can continue to have an impact in, you know, all those other areas. I thought I got to the rim well. It was just, you know, certainly a tough shooting night, and, you know, you got to find a way to continue to shoot and remain confident in myself, because I know I put the time in. But for me, I don't feel like it's, you know, anything that's off necessarily. But yeah, it'd be nice to come down.
Aliyah, you guys are on game 2 of this road trip. You guys have a lot of games coming up, a little rest in between. What's just the focus right now for this group in terms of stuff off the court as well, and trying to get the momentum back?
Yeah, just make sure that we're taking care of our body, taking care of each other. And for us, our focus is Seattle. We can't look too far ahead because Seattle is right around the corner. So just making sure that we look at this game, what Seattle does, how we want to play, make sure we are just prepared, because obviously they're a good team, and so we have to make sure that we're ready for that.
Caitlin, I know you see this everywhere you go, but how do you feel when you walk into an opposing arena and you see all these young girls and young boys wearing your jersey, you know, with signs for you and stuff? I mean, how does it, as a person, how does that make you feel to see that away from home?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously really, really appreciate it. Like, a lot of people spend a lot of time and money to be able to see us play just one time. So that's never something that gets old, and I think it's always a good reminder for myself. You know, I have a tough day like today, or, you know, whatever. It's just like, there's so many people that are there supporting you and love watching you play basketball. And at the end of the day, that's why you do it, because you can inspire a lot of young girls. So just really thankful for those people that continue to show up and support our team and, you know, love on my teammates. So it certainly isn't something that ever gets old.
At what point, this question's for each of you, at what point, the two-woman game between the two of you was, like, working amazing in the first half, and later on in the third, at what point do you know, like, this is going to work?
When we watched the film.
Yeah.
You know,
So we scout.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you both.
Awesome.
Didn't have the best of performances until late.
Mhm.
What do you think that what was the game plan against her to kind of slow her down?
Well, like I said pregame, it was just to try to make everything as difficult as possible. Like, Asia's one of the best players in the world. You're not going to stop her. So we just needed to make it difficult, and I thought AB did. But Asia did what great players do, and they step up in the fourth quarter, and that's what she did.
I guess Caitlin's 1 of 17 from 3 over the past few games. Just what have you said to her, or what has she kind of said about keeping that confidence and kind of this kind of stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is what we have to do as a staff to get her better looks, like higher quality looks. Every game plan is going to be to make her score inside the three-point line, right? And the different ways that they're going to do that. Physicality, coverage, showing bodies, all the different things. And, we have to do a better job of getting her higher quality looks. I'm not worried about Caitlin's shot. Caitlin's shot is going to be just fine. The thing I'm worried about is our 18 turnovers for 28 points.
Last 2 games, you guys have been leading going into half, but the fourth quarter giving up, I think, around 60 plus points. Just what stands out to you about the last final minutes of both of those matchups?
Yeah, I felt like everything we did was a lack of discipline in some way, shape, or form. Turnovers, fouls, missed rotations on the defensive end of the floor, giving up timely offensive rebounds, things like that. It's all things that are correctable. And I think the challenge for us as when you think about, our big three and how young they are, together especially, the challenge is you got to shorten those moments, right? It can't be 5-6 possessions in a row. We call a timeout when it's 5-0. We come out, we execute, and then I think they go on like another 6-0 run. Like you got to be able to, in those moments, problem solve, and you got to be able to nip it. I mean, great team. Basketball's a game of runs, but we have to shorten the opponents. And we have to lengthen hours, and sometimes it's as simple as just being a little bit more patient and disciplined.
Steph and talk about to piggyback up that Golden State things. Did it feel like there were some similarities considering that it was opposed, or any of that is in what you were seeing out there and trying to make adjustments on the fly? Did it seem something similar like we just saw this system?
I don't know if it just as far as the system, just because the personnel is so different. I think more than anything, when you saw the way that Jackie gets downhill, right, that she attacks the rim, when you saw where Asia started getting the ball as opposed to where she got the ball early in the ball game, how intentional they were at making sure they got it in those possessions. Chelsea, who always hits the timely big ones. They're championship pedigree. And in those moments, they step up and make the big plays. And so I think more than anything, this game did not feel the same as Golden State. I think we still grew in ways, but at the end of the day, we've got to find ways to win ball games.
You mentioned obviously they're big games, but Aliyah and I put in
Yeah.
some work, and even Dana and Tiff. It's not on the stat sheet, but the minutes that they provide, you saw about their bench, how key it was.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like they always do a really good job of having the players that come off the bench that fill the gaps, right? That fill the holes. And Aliyah and I, who we know is a knockdown shooter, made some big ones. Dana gives Chelsea a spell, right? She comes in and she's different with her speed and her quickness and her ability to get downhill. And obviously Tiff comes in and makes an impact, gets to the free throw line, has a couple of rebounds. Positive plus minus by everybody from the bench, and it takes everybody.
Edie didn't play today. Was that just trying to get returners assimilated before Edie leaves for?
No, it was more of a matchup thing. It was more of a matchup. I like Bree Turner's length and defensive ability on Asia, or when we had to get into some switches. And it's always kind of a tough decision sometimes with the offense that Edie can give us with this matchup. And sometimes it is as simple as just it's matchup driven.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Sorry, thank you.